Basically, and now I have people that know my cell phone that are telling me, "Oh, you're muted." You know, it told me that there was a problem with my mic, but I thought I had fixed it. So, but anyway, here I am now. So again, I'm Shelly Dressel. If you had just saw the mouth going before it, if you can't lip read, but welcome everyone. I'm super thrilled to have you here. We live in a really spectacular time. This is really amazing. And I know that we all might not think that, myself included, on a daily basis, but on the whole, when you look at things from like a galactic perspective and from the higher perspective, this is truly, truly amazing. So welcome. I'm glad to have you all here. And what I was saying is, please consider liking, subscribing, any of those things. You know, I have an email list. You can go back to crystallinetransformations.com, see all the other channels that I've been doing, and follow those if you're interested. Whew, deep breath. Yeah, I've been taking a lot of deep breaths lately. I bet y'all have too. Just trying to get in enough of that energy in the breath. Good to be here. Yep, good to have y'all here. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Sweden, Mexico, Denmark, Ontario. Fabulous. And I know I saw someone from Atlanta. So all of them, all of you are great. I really appreciate you being here. What I was starting to say, if someone has never followed this channel before, I'm a channeler, which means I speak with high vibrational beings. And I know there's a lot of different energy around about that. And everyone has their own personal beliefs, which is fine. But I do channel. Albayon comes from Arcturus, and Brysentia is from the Pleiades, and then Crystallia is from the Omniverse. I know Crystallia is going first tonight. When I went back and I listened to it later, I didn't feel that way at the time, but it was kind of funny to me. When I went back and I listened to it later, it was like Crystallia talked for 5 minutes, and then she says, "Okay, bye." I thought, oh my goodness, I must have been tired. So anyway, she gets to start from Norway. Thank you. Good to have you here. Oh yeah, Angie, good to see you from Raleigh. Karen from Colorado. See? All over the world. We are from all over the world. And I thank you all for being here. Those of you that are in Europe, it's probably 2 a.m. for you, 1 a.m, something like that. So whether you're listening live or later, I welcome you and I thank you so much. Very interesting. As you know, I get the questions in advance. Usually I have 3 pages worth of questions, to not only have 1.5. So, that must mean they have a lot to say on their own, or depending on how I feel, we'll see if y'all can just put some questions in here. I'll let you know, because if I try to scroll back up, that's what messes me up. That's what messed me up that first time. But anyway, Maggie from Australia, you see, now we're down under also. And I think there's about 3 or 4 of you from Australia that are in here on a consistent basis. So Oregon, Denmark, awesome. I just so appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying this holiday season. Okay, I am going to get quiet and let us begin. Okay. Greetings. It is I, Crystallia. I come to you this evening to share my time, my space, my energy, and to let you know of some of the messages that have been coming through over the last couple of weeks. I know that each of you are very aware of this, but I do want to reiterate that this whole universe, and then in particular this galaxy, and then even more in particular this end of the galaxy, is going through an absolutely amazing transition. And I had not observed or participated in anything like this myself, as I believe the majority of you have not either. It has not been done with the full, well, not the full, but with the consciousness of a planet, that everyone is raising the vibration and making a choice to be in a consciously open vibration and frequency. So that's a pretty big deal. And I think it's something that each one of you can look to yourself, look up, look down and say, thank you. Thank yourself for being here. Thank yourself for being a part of this energy, and know that you have absolutely made an impact on not only yourself, but on the whole planet, the whole universe. Okay, now I want to talk about the changes in energy. We've spoken at length about the 3-Eye Atlas, and we will continue to bring in more and more information about that. But what the 3-Eye Atlas is not the only part of your universe, or shall I say the only thing in your universe that is working with this transition of the energies. There are your own sun, the moon, the other star frequencies. There are many different things that come into play where energy gets shifted. Sometimes it's what's happening on another planet is sending out a radio frequency, not a radio, but a frequency, and that frequency gets picked up and then it gets transported from one place to another. So this is not just about the Earth and the 3-Eye and everything that's going on with that, although that is a significant impact or increase. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The alignment of your planets, that in and of itself creates vibrations and frequency. It's almost like as they line up in a particular way, it pulls the energies tighter. And then as they move out of that, there's a release, and that release lets go of that tightened energy. And so there's so many different ways that you can consider how is the Earth interacting with the other planets, and how is it interacting to integrate these energies. Okay, so when we speak of consciousness is your thoughts, it's your beliefs, it's your awareness, but consciousness is more than that. It is also your spirituality. And as you are right now, many of you are very aware and awakened as to what your spirituality does or how that works with you. But your spirituality is that direct link that's coming down into you that comes from your soul. We're speaking about that direct link that is only you, that makes you the unique individual that you are. And that part of the spiritual, of the consciousness that we're talking about, is what is bringing in the vibrations, the frequencies, the light codes that are associated with the universe or this part of the galaxy. And so what does that mean? So you're getting it sent into you as a means of adjusting the collective consciousness of the whole entire planet. But then as those impulses are coming in, you yourself are also receiving them directly down from your soul essence and directly down from your higher self. And that is what is causing you to open up and then receive these things that are sent in galactically. So it is very, very important for you to know that a change has taken place in 2025. Well, as you are well aware, there have been many, many changes. With this being a year of completion, there are so many things that have completed, and there are other things that it may seem that they're still in transition and not yet there, but they're further along than what you realize, because the energy doesn't lie. The energy doesn't change. The energy doesn't shift. What the energy does as it's coming in and as it is impacting humanity, there will be flexes and constrictions and different changes that take place. But the energy is the energy is the energy. So in this year, you have started moving away from just believing things with your analytical mind and learning how to tune into your spiritual energy or your spiritual consciousness so that you can know what is the truth or what is your truth or what is your reality. And the thing that goes along with that is that you're going to start to move away from mentally analyzing things and trying to fit those pieces to the puzzle together that you call your life, and instead go from a space of being proactive and moving forward with a force energy to becoming receptive, that you are receiving the energies of the universe. You are receiving the energies of all that is around you. You are receiving all of these transition and changes that are taking place. And in doing so, your body then is adjusting to that. Your consciousness is adjusting to that. And whether you stop and think about it and analyze it or not, you are already there. There are ions and there are parts of your consciousness that are already working to help you be in that place that you can receive as much as is possible. And the biggest part of being able to receive is that you are going to now let go. You're going to let go more easily. You're going to let go more fully so that you are no longer taking on that which is not yours. There is, as light workers, so often you considered yourselves kind of the way showers, you could say. You also considered yourselves the ones that were setting the energy or setting the tone for all of humanity to be able to make these transitions. And indeed, for many, many years, this is exactly what you did. However, now this year and maybe one more year before that, that's when the change began to move over towards it is the universe that is setting the energies. It is that higher vibrational frequency that is now setting the energy. So you need not do that anymore. What you need to do, or what would benefit you, I guess I don't really like telling people what to do, and I just did, but what I would recommend to you is that learning how to be in stillness, how to be quiet within yourself, how to let go of all that analytical, I should do this, I should do that, I can help the world do this, I can help it do that. And instead, just go inside and just do it with me. Take a deep breath in and let your focus and your awareness just go down into your heart center. And as you're here, just pause, just hold that energy for the count of 4. And just as you're holding it for the count of 4, that's going to bring everything to a place of stillness. And then as you breathe out, you can just let that breath go. And then when you take another breath in, this time you've already set it up with your soul that, okay, I'm going to pause and I'm going to have a moment of stillness. And then you just breathe in and you breathe out. And with every breath in, you are again affirming to your soul, I am here. I am open to receive whatever you have to share. I am open to receive. And by being in that space, that is what allows you to then begin to listen to the messages that are coming in from your soul. Okay, another thing, and in fact, if you want to start your day in this way, that's fabulous. And then most people take a break for lunch or something like that. Maybe pause a few minutes and just breathe into your heart center at lunchtime or midday. And this time, as you're doing so, whatever frustrations you had of the morning, let them go. Whatever things that have been bothering you or hanging on, just let them go. And in doing so, you then create the space to be in stillness so that your soul and the universal light energy will then begin to communicate with you, and you will begin to know, oh, let me go in this direction. Oh, here's a message for my friend over here. Oh, I can actually make this changes and things are going to go more smoothly. This is how you're setting up your own vibrational energy so that you can be in the flow of receiving, so that you can have whatever it is that you seek to have, and you can be fully present in your moment. Now, the next thing that goes along with that I would like to speak about is the energy that's going through your body. You will recall, I've seen those pictures and those images where it talks about the meridians that move through your body, and they have the pictures of the energy coming out of your head center and like a fountain, and then it comes down and you bring it up through your feet and it becomes like a circle. So there have been many images over the years that show the flow of energy as it moves through people. And as we're moving into the next year, as we're moving into this next phase, there will still be a flow of energy, but it's not going to be coming out of your head center or coming out of your feet. Instead, it's going to be more of a sense of coming out from your heart center. Because when you live within your heart, when you live in this alignment from your heart center into your soul, then what you're going to do is you're going to breathe all the way down into your heart, as we just spoke about. And then as your heart opens up, you will just naturally send out the light, the love, the frequency that is you. You have been accustomed for all these many, many, many years to think of yourself as the human that you are. And indeed, that is a very precious being. However, you're more than the human. It is your soul essence that really, really, really generates that energy, generates those frequencies, and really helps to take you to the next level of wherever you may be in your life. So this is why, by becoming centered within your heart center, opening up and just sending your love and light from you, that then allows for even more to come down from your soul. So you've probably heard this for a number of years, but for those people that are at the forefront of all of this stuff, those of you that have been following this for a number of years, you tend to be proactive people. You tend to go out, let me work with things, let me get this done, let me learn what I can, let me practice what I'm doing, let me teach these people over there. All of which is great, because without that, the world would be even more compacted and you wouldn't be as expanded as you are. However, as a part of this new vibrational frequency, you're going to find, at least at the beginning, that what you're learning to do is just be in a state. You're just going to be in that place of awareness and allowing, and you're just going to let your soul energy and the vibration and frequency do whatever it needs to do without fully analyzing. That's the kicker for so much of you, isn't it? Or so many of you, because you want to think about it, analyze it. What do I do next? What can I learn? What can I do? And that's what needs to come down into the stillness. And as it does so, then suddenly you're going to be filled with opportunities. You're going to be filled with potentials. In fact, quite a bit of what is there and circulating around you is about what is your next step to take in this life? What is your next step that is going to take you to a place of joy, a place of happiness? So and we know that many people are talking about this, and there's a reason why many people keep saying the same thing, is that as you breathe in, you're in that state of stillness, or you're interacting with people, if you can feel yourself getting even bigger, that's exactly where you need to be. If you're trying to make a decision about life, or about work, or about family, or whatever it may be, and you are talking to someone, or you're looking at your options, or different things like that, and you feel yourself getting smaller and closing in, that is not the place to go. So expansion is feeling big, having your heart wide open, and constriction means that you're making yourself less than, so as to fit a pattern that no longer works for you. So consider some of your relationships. Are you in relationships with people? And by no means am I telling you not to have those relationships, because sometimes these are very, very important to you. So what needs to happen is you can find that space where you're expanded and you're just sending that love out from your heart center. And then, as whether it's family members, co-workers, friendships, whatever it may be, if they are sending darts your way or trying to make you think what they think or believe, then just let that love become a reflector, and let that do to engage. Try not to get into an argument, because anything like that is just going to bring you down and constrict you. The other thing, that if you consider the end of the 90s, the early 2000s, actually maybe even earlier than that, people felt like they were on a mission to try to teach others about this new world, the new life, the new energy, and that was just their goal in life, was to teach others. So another part of this change or transformation that's going to be happening is that others are going to find you, because what you will find is that they're not ready. They don't need you to teach to them. So when they are ready, they will suddenly find you on their news feed. They will suddenly find themselves sitting next to you at a function or something, and you start talking, or it will be just your everyday life, and their soul, whatever the energies are around them, perhaps they know, oh, here's a person, we should figure out a way to get them to find one another. And it happens. Now, so many of you that are accustomed to this whole, being proactive, getting things done, getting things out there. That may seem very hard and challenging for you, but this is all part of what is teaching you to be in the space of who you are, to be in the vibration and frequency of the galactic or the universal energy. And in doing so, then you look at life through those different eyes. I think when you stop and you think about it from time to time, what you will find is that you're already doing this. It's just how long do you stay in this space and how long do you come back out to the way that you have been for the last 10 to 15 years. So let that just be something that perhaps you put into your everyday life. Perhaps you put it twice, 3 times a day, once a day. I would hope at least once a day, but if not more. The other thing is recognizing the change in your relationship, with Gaia, with the plants, with if there's anything that you can do outdoors that allows you to be outdoors, whatever it is that you can experience in your life that gets you closer to the planet, you're going to find that anchoring or grounding, as they call it, instead of it coming down through your feet the way it has for so long, it's going to be more your heart center is helping to ground you onto the planet. And by helping you ground through your heart center is another way of helping you to be in that expanded energy and still be grounded on the earth plane. So these are big, big changes, and I'm very excited that we are so far along this pathway from the places that you guys have been for so very long. I know that there are some people in that analytical mind that are saying, oh my gosh, we're halfway through the month and still there's so much that hasn't happened. Well, again, you're tapping into what has not happened when instead you begin to focus on just the energy. You're not putting an agenda to that energy. You're focusing on just being in that energy and feeling that expansion within you. Then it allows for even more of that expansion to be present on the earth. So you guys have done a great job. You've come a very, very, very long way, and I honor and respect all of that in you. But this is how you go into the next level and into the next phase. Now, I believe can we expect in the upcoming weeks contact with the inner earth beings? Love that. So the inner earth beings, when you think about that, many refer to them as Lemurians that are within the earth. They are not going to be coming about in the next several weeks. They actually, this just dropped into the consciousness. Some of them have actually been working with the 3-Eye Atlas as a means of creating a bridge between the 3-Eye Atlas and the inner earth, just as you guys are working with the Atlas and trying to create those bridges onto the surface of the earth. So this is something that has multiple layers and multiple places of alignment and expansion. So it is very exciting. Now, as to inner earth, yes, there are beings that are going to be coming up to the surface and are going to interact with humanity. But at the very, very earliest, I see that kind of next summer. You are getting to a place of a huge transition, especially with the solstice coming up, but that needs to be integrated, and we need to have closure to so much of this negativity before they can more fully come up onto the earth. So that context, some of them are working with you guys through your dream state or through channeling or through meditations. But they will actually be up there walking around on your streets and talking to people in everyday life. And there is a part of them that you're going to think, oh my gosh, there's something different about this person. Do you feel the light in this person? And other than that, they may look exactly like you, and they may not, you might not, it will not be the first thing that comes into your mind that, oh, this person's from Lemuria. Instead, it'll be, oh, this person's pretty special. And because they are just filled with light. So it's going to be that easy of a transition. I mean, that's not easy. I get that, but it's not going to be as if you're hard and struggling, because struggle is constriction, and that's holding you back. Remember that if you are following too much social media, if you're following too much negativity, all of that is going to constrict you, and that's going to keep you from being able to fully be open and not only receive these downloads, but for you to transition into that place of the expansion, that place of being loved, that place of just experiencing yourself. Whew-wee. So this is wonderful. I did see a question there. I don't think that was for me. If there's any specific question about what I've been talking about, I'll take another minute here, but otherwise we'll just send it on to Albayon. But let's see here. Let's close this out. Okay. Goodness gracious. Shelly always tries to close down those things, but forgot. Thank you for saying that you're so grateful to all of us. We really appreciate it, coming in from LA. All right, so then just be aware that I am coming to the earth more so than I have ever done in the past. Sometimes I'm working with people in their dream state, in which case you come up to me. But I'm also trying to come into different places where we're really seeding the earth and we're really seeding these higher vibrational energies. I am working with the ancient ones and with the natives, not the natives. What do you call those people? The original people in the various countries that are bringing back the vibration and the frequency of the land, because that has got to change in order for it to sustain all of humanity, in order for you guys to move forward in a healthy way. So it is happening. It is coming. And I am working with those vibrations and frequencies and truly, truly enjoying it. I can now be on your planet enough. For those of you that think your planet is the same as it's ever been, I can say it is not. It is in a much higher vibration and frequency than what it has ever, well, I'm not saying what it has ever been, but in the last 26,000 years or more. Prior to that, there have been times of very, very high frequency on the earth, but it hasn't been like this for a very, very, very long time. So I really support all of you and the work that you have done. And hopefully I gave you some information to help you understand where you are going in the next few months as you step into 2026. All right, beloved friends and family, thank you so much for having me here on Saluia. Greetings, it is I, Albayon. I come to you at this time with information and messages about all that is happening upon the earth. I hope that you will take the opportunity to go back and listen to what Crystallia has said. It's so very important. As Arcturians, we tend to do healing. We work very much with healing the body, with healing the spirit, with healing emotions, with healing the many different things that are happening on your earth plane. And I know a question that is about the Medbeds, which is healing of the body. So when Crystallia spoke about that new relationship with the energy, with the consciousness, and how everything is intertwining with itself, this is the foundation for healing as you move forward. What you are doing is you are opening up the cells, the particles that make up your body, those spaces in between. The DNA that keeps getting activated and downloaded within you is that unconscious DNA that is a part of you. So by doing these exercises that she mentioned, that's going to help you to activate those particles so that more and more and more of the higher vibrational DNA and energy can go into you. So very, very, very exciting times. And I'm so happy that we're here to participate in this. The other thing that I wish to share about that is the importance of, how do I say this? When it comes to the Medbeds, let me just take a look and see what the status is for that on the earth. Here's the way I see it. They are all over the place. They're in every country. They're in just about every city. When they were very first coming out, we saw a lot of the link to the military people to help those that have been through so much. But here's the thing. It's like there is a fog around them, or there is an overlay. So what this is meaning to each of you is that the medbeds and that technology has already been integrated with the planet. It has already been integrated with those that are living here. And most of the medbeds will have one form of a non-terrestrial that is there working with the people that are going to be running it until they become much more efficient with it. So what humanity needs to do is begin that process by opening up their consciousness, opening up to their soul energy, opening up and understanding or recognizing the particles of energy that make up who you are, not as a means of identifying every specific little one, but simply as a means of knowing I'm here, I'm present, and all of this energy is happening around me, and all of it is working with me and is setting up potentials for me to step into. So when you start looking at it in this way, it is really, really interesting, and it is very informative as a means of teaching you, here's where we're going, here's what's going to happen. Okay, so when that overlay is removed from the medbeds, then it will be as if suddenly all of society is talking about it. They'll say, oh, there's a medbed. Did you hear about the medbeds? Do you know what they are? And so there will be many, many people that have not heard about them. However, this consciousness of the medbeds has been widely spread, and it will not be as strange to the majority of people as you think it might be. So begin that process. And of course, you can always just come up to my ship. You can always go to any of those spaces of higher frequency and energetically put yourself into one of those devices that just clears your energy, helps you to rebalance, helps you to realign, and then heals whatever it is that might need healing within you. So by doing that energetically, then when it happens physically, you're ready. Your body is ready, you are ready, and everything just falls into place. So one of the problems with the medbeds in the past, and the reason why they have not come out more fully, is that there needs to be a sense of acceptance and a sense of reality that each person who's going to go into a med bed or have that experience is taking responsibility for their lives. Yes, they're going to go in this med bed. Yes, they'll be rebalanced and set back to 0 point or whatever you want to call it. But then it is up to them to recognize, I am choosing good health for my life. I am choosing to be proactive in my exercise regime, whatever it may be. Then that individual, as they are embracing themselves and taking ownership for everything that they are doing, it's what allows any healing to become permanent within that individual. Okay, so let's see. There were a few other things I wanted to talk about. So let's back up for a second and look at this year. You are in a place right now where truly, the nefarious ones are making their last ditch effort. What I mean by that is there are so many lies that are being spewed right now, both on social media, both on the mainstream media, that most people are like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what is real. I don't know what is wrong. And as all of this misinformation is being sent out there, the intention is to make people confused, to make people wonder, what is the truth? What do I believe in and what don't I believe in? So every time that you go back within yourself and you ask, is this a truth or is this not a truth? You will get that answer. And the more that you practice with that, the easier that will come to you. But I would have to say, as I'm looking at social media, especially through the eyes of so many of you, there has been a massive amount of disclosure put out there. They have put out there about the individuals. They've put out there about the corporations. They've put out there about these many, many different transitions. And what has to happen at some point is they have to transition the mainstream media. Now, let me take a look at that. I mean, we've talked about that before. And I do know at one point it had already been transitioned and they were now playing a part. So let's look at that and see if that's still the case. Okay, when you look at the media, at the mainstream media, you will find that the majority of them have been transitioned, and some of them against their will. Some of them were changed out with an actor. Some of them are clones that were put out there by the nefarious ones to still keep doing what they're doing. But there were a number of them that took a deal, you could say. They had been, some of them were directly involved in crimes against humanity. Others of them knew about it and covered it up. So like maybe one step out. But the problem is that there are a number of them that actually, it seems like a number. It's because there are so darn many people that are in the media, especially when you look worldwide. So a large number of these people have accepted a deal, as they call it, a plea deal, that they will give certain information in order not to either go to jail or be hanged or whatever it may be. Now, of course, any of those really heinous crimes, they're not going to live on this earth plane anymore. But as you are all very well aware, that gray area seems like it's expanded to a large degree. So when the question arises, has mainstream media converted? The answer is yes. However, they're still playing their part. They're still going through the role of what is expected of them. So the next question that comes to me is, now there were a couple of questions in here. Let's see. One person said that she had learned that Ilhan Omar and others seem to be, that are so over the top, are actually plants. And put in place to make people wake up. Is there any accuracy to that? There is some accuracy to that. There are a number of people that seem to right now be more vocal than they usually have been. There are a number of people from these various, and again, we're looking primarily at the US because it's leading the way in a lot of these changes. But we do see also the UK, Europe, a lot of other places are still, in some areas they're very far advanced, in some areas they are not. So this is a worldwide transition that is going on. And in just about every country, in just about every place, there are at least a number that are the white hats, as you call them, that are in there that are either getting information and taking it back. There are still some dark energies that are involved in some of these countries, because you couldn't just take down the entire country and then that wouldn't do any good. But there are still some negative people, and there are many white hats that are working alongside of them. And when you think about someone that's a spy, they have to assume the duties. It looks like they're going along with them. Ilhan Omar, this is not the original one. The original one is long gone. This is someone that is playing a role, and the role is entirely about helping to bring consciousness, these problems that are here that are coming about. So there are going to be many, many experiences like that also. So the next question is, this is what's so hard. I remember seeing that. Let me speak for a moment about the money. When they took down in 2020, was it, or 2021? When they took down the Vatican and they got all that money that was underneath the Vatican, it went back to the countries from which they came. I mean, they literally had everything documented. This money came from so-and-so. This came from so-and-so. And so a good bit of that went back to the countries from which it came. Some countries that have been very poor, they immediately started using that to try to build up their standard of living. But it had to be done in such a way that people wouldn't be saying, why do you all of a sudden have money? What's going on here? So it was done in a very subtle way. So that money is sitting in the place of wherever it is that each country has it. They did not want to start giving it to people too soon because the majority of people would maybe just run through it and then it would be all gone and they'd still be in a place of lack. And I hear you. You really need the money. I understand. However, with the vibration of lack as a frequency, it's that constriction that Crystallia was talking about. People need to be in a place where their heart is expanding. When they get that money, they can then use it to support themselves, to do what they need to do, to fix what they need to fix, to replenish their coffers or whatever you want to call it, and doing so with an expanded heart instead of, oh my gosh, yes, I can use this, but I'm still going to be messed up in another 2 months. So this is a part of why it didn't happen last summer. The energy is so close. The energy is right there. And so I do have a feeling that there is money, like at least a token amount that is going to go out to every individual because the heart center is now open and people are able to use that money to make the changes, to do what they need to do without it being something that then sends them right back into a place of lack. The money, in fact, will be a part of the means of helping people to be able to open up. We're talking about those that have as yet, normies, I guess you call them. So those people that have not yet woken up, that if they've been in lack and lack and lack and lack, then they can turn that corner because of all the love vibration and frequency. And instead, then when they receive the money, it will help them and their heart will expand even more. So this is why it didn't happen last summer. And this is why I do see it happening before the end of the year. I do have this feeling around the solstice. You know, I hate to give a number because then it seems to immediately push it back even later. So let me just say that there are many, many changes that are coming up between now and the end of the year. Look at December 4th, the massive energies that came in. December 9th, just yesterday, massive energies coming in. So almost every day or every other day or every week, there are massive impulses of energy that are coming in this month. And all of those impulses of energy are what is changing the consciousness and awakening many, many people so that they can be in that love frequency. And then when there's enough of that, then the cash dollars I see going into everyone's account. It will be a world. It may be that one country does it first and others follow suit, or it may be that a worldwide coordination that everybody gets it at the same time, so that you don't have one country going into lack and having problems. But I sense, honestly, mostly it's going to be all of the countries getting something, every person at the same time. It may not be the exact amount per country, but it will be something. And each person that receives it will feel the significance of it. Now then, there was something that slipped through my mind as we were talking about that. Okay, we've talked ad nauseum about there's so much that's happening that I am going to kind of not say the full words. It begins with an I and ends with an L, and then the G in it. That area, which is where the head of the cabal was had manifested, that's where that core and all of that satanic and all of that really nasty, nasty energy was underground. And so, as we've said, that is gone, and that has been in the process of cleaning out. But there are still, as you know, because you can just look around at every nation, there are still those people that are very, very low vibrational frequencies. They're the ones that are hurting other people. They're the ones that are still trafficking in humanity. They're the ones that are still, just not the people that are of a high vibrational frequency. So we've talked before that the universal beings do not have permission to come in and just do something. So I do know that this came up in conversation, and Shelly asked me to reflect it back to you guys. There is going to be a council DJT, is that how you say it? China, India, Russia, those four at the very least. So in other words, the leaders of these significant countries have already been talking about it, and there are way more that are in on this conversation. Just about every major part of the planet has been in on these conversations. But I have a sense that there could be a minimum of 4, a maximum of 6 leaders from these different countries that are going to go over there. And then the galactic beings are going to come down and they're going to clean things out. They will not be doing it for us, for humanity. They will be doing it with humanity, and specifically into that place with these humans that are there taking care of it. So so we wanted to be very clear. It's not going to be anyone taking over. It's going to be a combined effort of the major players of your planet with the galactic beings. And this, I believe it's already been done, or we would not be talking about it. But if it hasn't been done, it'll be done very, very, very soon. So again, there's a reason why they haven't told everybody everything, and I don't know 100% what that may be, but I do know that it's important for each of you to understand that a lot has been going on. Do you recall the last time we got together, we talked about the chess pieces? Someone had asked a question, how many more steps are there? How much more is going on? And when I looked at President Trump, I saw 4 pieces, 4 chess pieces, and there was one that was being held up, one from the other team, and then those other 2. I now see 2 pieces on the board. So in just these 2 weeks, half of what was left to be done has been taken care of. And I know that especially with this influx of energy that is going to peak around the 19th of this month, that if there was any significant amount of those really low vibrational and really negative people, that it simply wouldn't, it just, we would not be able to bring in the high vibrational frequency if there were too many of them that were here. So, so big changes are coming about. And that feels to me like that's the last step. Once those are gone and that area gets cleaned out, then this high vibration is just going to download, and it will be beautiful to see. It'll be very significant to see. Phew. Okay, so that was one of my major things that I wanted to chat with you about, and I'll give you a what do you call it? A task. The next time that you go into meditation and you really go deeply, not just in your mental body, but you really go deeply, send your energy over there and see how it feels to you. Ask your higher self or ask your divinity that question and see what answer you get. Because out in the universe, it is widely known. So it's only on the earth that things are being done underneath of a cloak. But keep it up. The high vibration is here. It's not going anywhere. And so just be open. Just be open. Okay, let's look at some of these questions that we have here. Where did the Sumerians come from, and were they connected to the Anunnaki and eventually Noah and the flood? So the Sumerians, as we recall, the Payandor from the 3-Eye Atlas had spoken about the Atlas being here during the time of the Sumerians and bringing in some significant changes. So let me look at them and see what I can get. The Anunnaki were involved in them, with them, and there were other beings of light that had been on the earth plane, and they were also here. And at that time, they were helping those beings. The Anunnaki have been a very interesting, you could say, race, where they've had some that were of the light and some that were not of the light. And so when I look at the Anunnaki that were there during the time of Sumeria, they put forth illusions, and we believe it was the not so nice Anunnaki, but they had put on the face, or they had put on the energy, or they had they had camouflaged themselves. And they kept themselves hidden like that for literally 50 to 100 years or something like that. At the same time, there were other beings of light that were on the earth plane. And they were the ones that had come in, and you can call them of the angelic realm. You could call them star beings that came down, and they were working with the individuals that were living there. Many of them had chosen to come and interact and become a part of this. What they like to talk about in those various books is that the star people came down, they interacted with humanity, they bred on them, meaning inseminated them, and different experiences, but then that just caused problem after problem after problem. Well, that was one example of one experience of things that did happen. If you look on the flip side of that, there were many, many, many others in other parts of the earth. The earth was not as inhabited as it is now. However, there was a significant part of the earth, at least half of it, that was inhabited with people. And on those other places, they were able to have the individuals come in. They were able to work with them. They helped them to learn new things. They helped them to grow and expand. And in doing so, they were also mating with them. And they were also having, it is a way of integrating within the humanity that was there with the higher vibrational energies and frequency. And it did bring up a change. And that change, again, speaking of the Atlas, you know how we said if it wasn't a certain vibration, it wouldn't come to this part of the universe? Well, it was a different vibration at that time, and the Atlas did come through here, but it was not the high vibrational Atlas that you have right now. I didn't say that right. The three-eye atlas, whenever it's come through the universe, it's always been about significant changes taking place. But they can make those changes at different frequencies. So the frequency it was back at that time is not the frequency that it is right now. However, it did come through and it did bring significant change with it. So going back to this, I think I lost my train of thought here. So yes, the Anunnaki were involved, some of it with the nice, in addition to other star beings, a lot of the Pleiadians integrated into the earth plane, some Arcturians like myself, some Syrians were here, but those were the primary ones that came in at that time. There were many other species that have come and gone over the years. And when you go back to the really ancient times, there were many, many more. But at that time, to answer this question, that's how I see it. And was Noah that, maybe so, but it was quite a ways after that, in my opinion. Okay. We've been told by many of the pod influencers to stock up on food and water for quite some time now. Do the ULBs still see this as necessary, or will the shutdown even take place? They keep saying the EBS is imminent. Much love. So we have never felt that the shutdown would be that of shutting down completely where, the lights goes out, all of that. I've never, ever seen it happen in that fashion. Instead, I did see places might have a loss of electricity or internet or whatever it is, but it would always be temporary and short term, and it would just be kind of a rolling thing. Do you need water and food? I don't believe so. However, you can look to yourself, and if it makes you feel better to have that, to stock up on that, by all means, go ahead and do so. It doesn't hurt if you get stuff that can last for a year or two. But I do not see anything happening where they would be like long lines at the grocery store. There's no food for anybody. I just don't see that happening. They've been making changes to the earth, and they've been trying to bring out more healthy food, and they will do so, and they are doing so. But they cannot destroy all the really bad food, because then you wouldn't have any food. Then you would go into a place of lack. So they are filtering it out and integrating it with that which is more healthy food. And so this is why I don't see you going into a place like that, of that type of a shutdown. I really thought the EBS took place back in October, but the way that I see things going, I think it was a spike and they started and then something brought it back down again. Could be these last few moves by the nefarious ones. But I will say, and I don't remember if I said it right now or another time, but just be very, very, very aware of all the negativity and all of the outright lying that is being done on the internet. And don't take anything unless you know specifically who this individual is. Don't take anything unless you know exactly what it is or you really feel into the energy. And in that case, you trust the energy, because there's just a massive, massive amount. It's like they have dumped everything they possibly could to try to take people down. Okay, let's see. Can you give us some insight into Venezuela, such as the change in government, the revalue of their currency, and their connection to the American politicians? The Venezuelan government was a very strong and powerful country about 50 or 100 years ago. It has been integrated with a lot of the nefarious ones. Many of them came down from the United States. Many of them came from other parts of Europe. Basically, after World War II, a lot of the Germans went to South America. Now, Venezuela is up towards the upper part there, but it was a very strong, powerful country until all the socialist regime came in and all of that, that has really destroyed it. There's a lot of drugs there. There's a lot of the nefarious ones have been very much rooted in that country. They are being removed. They are being cleaned out. There are changes that are taking place. Is it where it's going to end up being? No. So it's not like what I would say people's first choice to go visit. Not yet, because it's a beautiful country and it had many, many, many resources. But right now it is still in a place of transition. I believe, if I'm tapping into this right, is it Venezuela or the other country? Like somewhere around in there, there's a very strong person who has taken over, and that person is cleaning house. And so whether I don't think that person's in Venezuela, but the same thing will happen to Venezuela. When these countries no longer have the nefarious ones dumping in their money, dumping in their control and manipulation, paying them through human trafficking, all of these different things, when that is removed, what are they going to do? And in most countries, there are those that are the core people that are ready to come back, that are ready to step up, that are ready to take care of things, or help to bring the country back. So it will come back, but and it's improved from what it was, but it's not there yet. And it's going to be, sometime within the next year, I will see significant changes in it. I think that answers that question. Will our times, let's see. Will our times and experiences be normal or as usual around the world this Christmas? Oh, I think this person is asking, people going to have, in so many places, the energy is higher than what it was a year ago in particular. And so it feels like there is a lot of Christmas spirit. There is a lot of the holiday spirit. There is a lot of love. There is a lot of abundance that is going on. Now, some countries more so than others, but that's always the way that it has been. But when I look at the planet and I say, what can you tell me about the holiday season? Because, of course, there's multiple different holidays that are going on here. And I just see this sense of rising vibration. So to me, my perception is that there is going to be a lot of love. There's going to be a lot of compassion. And there will obviously be those that are stuck and constricted. But I see that a change has taken place and that this is a good place to be. Okay, and I answered that one already. Is Imran Khan of Pakistan still in jail? How is he doing? Is he a white hat? Imran Khan of Pakistan. Whew. 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 As I looked to Pakistan to ask about this individual and see what I could see, there was this massive wave of negativity that kind of came out and hit me. So Pakistan is one of those places that has needed a very heavy or a very large overhaul. And so I think that's happening, but it is just very slow going. I take that back. I think something is happening right now that is really clearing out a lot of those, because once I got past that initial whoosh that hit me, I had this sense of just peace and neighbors working with neighbors and a sense of acceptance. India and Pakistan have very old and ancient belief systems and realities. And so I do feel like some of that is changing, is transitioning, but it's still in a process of transitioning. So let me look for this guy, Imran Khan. I couldn't even find him because the energy was so heavy. When I look at this individual, I do believe he is a white hat. I do believe he was playing a role. I do believe he was there to have some specific goals in place. I also believe that there are a number of people that 100% believe what was said about him. And when we look at him, we see him in a place where he is like in meditation and prayer, and he's constantly clearing, just clearing, just clearing, just clearing. Yes, I believe he is a white hat. Yes, it doesn't feel like a jail. It feels more like a house, but he can't leave. So in essence, a jail. But that is all a part of what's coming out. It feels like he was very proactive with these Pakistanis have sent, like, what do you call them? Like cores of people. Their vibration, the one that we picked up on here, is very much like the Islam that was also integrating around the world. Very much like so many of the negative groups of people, they all have a similar vibration as I look at them. So these guys look like they needed to be cleared out, and this guy gave a lot of information that helped to set that in motion. Okay, let's see here. Will President Trump have a special announcement this week on TV about Doge? For some reason, when President Trump rambles is when he's saying the most. There's something, because we see him standing at a podium and he's talking and talking and talking and talking. And for whatever reason, I feel as if he's an energy worker and he must be sending out waves of energy or doing something as he's talking. That's one reason why he talks so long, even though I know most people get sick of it and it's like, cut to the chase, move on. Is he going to say something about Doge? There is a possibility, and that could also then be linked to this money that we see going out, at least for the United States. So we get a yes, there could be something this week or next week. And it just feels like it's linked into the money that people get to kind of get through the holidays and to help to lift them up. Mm-hmm. Will Obama be arrested this week? See, this is one of the ways in which the nefarious ones work. Even though they knew that Trump was not guilty of anything, they still arrested him, they still charged him, they still prosecuted him. And even though everything has been overturned and it is no longer on the records and it is no longer there, it doesn't matter, because in the consciousness of humanity, they say he's been arrested, he's a convicted criminal. So now when Obama gets arrested and the Clintons and all of these other people get arrested, then they're going to, it's the same thing. It's like in the level of consciousness, it puts forth a specific vibration or frequency, and it does, whether they are or not. You see, one of the things that also is a problem is we're not sure, I'm not sure why he and the rest of these countries haven't started talking about the fact that these are going to be military tribunals. They're not going to be arrested in the regular court of law. That's why you have not seen his arrest as yet. So one of those chess pieces on there, maybe that's the checkmate, is we're now instituting that, what is it, maritime law or whatever it is, that is going to then have these people be tried by the military instead of through traditional courts. One of the things that many people have really noticed this year is just how very far their protocol so many of the judicial system has done in the United States. And they did it because they got supported to do it. They were told, hey, run rampant. Hey, do whatever you want. Hey, I'm going to support you. And that happened for many years. And so that's what took you to the place where you are. But Obama was rounded up a very long time ago. He is no longer on the planet, nor is Michelle. And so this will be an Obama lookalike that will be out there. And they will make it very public. And oh man, there's so many people. Could be this is the first. Could be this is the first. Could be this is the first. There's so many. There's such a laundry list. I wouldn't even begin to say who's going to be the first or who they're going to talk about. But at some point, they will say, here's a list of everybody, and this is what's already been done. The other thing to be aware of is those people that are screaming the loudest right now, trying to project what they want you to think about them. What are they hiding underneath it? So again, part of the lies and part of the manipulation that's going on. All right. Well, that is it for me. And I thank you guys very much for being here as a part of this. I am completely thrilled. I know the world is exactly where it needs to be. And we are coming to the end of 2025, and it is an intense and very, very focused time of transition. So be present within yourself, breathe deeply, bring your energy within, and stay as balanced and in that space as you are able to do so, because all of that not only helps you, but it helps the rest of the planet. Thank you, my beloved friends. On Siluia. Greetings. It is I, Brysentia. I am very, very pleased to come in at this time and speak to you about the Earth itself. Now, I want to tell you this to give you an idea of something that you can begin to seed into the potentials. The last, not just 25,000 years, but the last several hundred years, several 100,000 years, yeah. Time, space, reality for us is always different, and we always have to let us just say more than one eon, you have seen changes on this planet, such as the lack of water, the lack of food, the lack of trees, the lack of, all these different things that were a part of what made Earth so beautiful, has been presented to you that it is a lack, and that the global warming, that the pollution, that the food, all of these things are here as a place of lack. Now, much true that the food has been killing you, that the medications have been killing you, that these things that were said on the one hand to make you better, but are actually making you worse, that is showing you the duality of what's been going on. And you could look at it from the food to the supplements to the treatments of medicine to all these many, many, many different things that are going on. And then take that to some of these countries that used to be very rich in water and trees and grass and are now deserts. So all of these changes, now some of those were when atomics were set off many thousands of years ago. And some of these are also due to just the natural change and transition that takes place on any planet. But the core that I'm trying to get to right here is that a great deal has been manipulated by humanity because the nefarious ones were in charge. The nefarious ones were doing what they could to try to break down not only society, but break down this planet so that it would not be the beautiful place that it was for so very long. And that's all coming to an end. So as you look at things going forward, if you live in one of those places where there's a lack of water, there will be an abundance of water. If you live in one of those places where there's a lack of whatever it may be, any of your natural resources, there is a change and a transition that is taking place, and you will have a much more balanced place in which to live. So yes, that is coming, and that cannot be averted. The question is it going to be within this year, or is it going to be, 1 to 2 to 3 years down the road? Some of these that were really severe, that had become a desert, that's going to be 5 to 10 years or longer, but you will see the beginning of the change within 1 year. So we're going to get together on I believe it's December 22nd, which is a Monday, and the equinox is 21-22. We chose that time because we wanted to be a part of the equinox energies, and we wanted to be a part of the 3-Eye Atlas. It might be a little different. Certainly, there may be information that we'll be giving you, but there might also be some other differences as we get together on that time. And the reason that it's important is that in the past, when certain things have happened energetically, maybe only a few people knew about it. But this time, many of you in this community are all aware that a big change is happening. We want to be here. We want to celebrate with one another. So that's why we're going to get together on the 22nd instead of, the 24th would have been a holiday anyway. But we're getting together on the 22nd. Okay. As you know, I have worked with so many people all around the world. The Pleiadians are one of the founding people of this planet. And we have also taken on the responsibility of being the guardians. There are many other species that are out in the universe that are also the guardians of this planet. But the Pleiadians, like if you wanted to just choose one, who's the most common, it would be the Pleiadians. And it is because the planet is so very much like our own planet. Now, our planet is a series of stars. You call them the Pleiades stars, but they are actually planets, and each planet is different. It has a different focus, and there is an overlay that is not an overlay that you're thinking of, but there is a link between all of the Pleiadian stars that gives them a commonality, which is that sense of, we're Pleiadian. But we have also been the planet where so many people that came from other planets that were not accustomed to being in the vibration and frequency of the Earth would stay with us for a while to learn what is the Earth like, what is the energy like, what is this type of gravitational pull, what is this density. And so you will, if you start looking around, you're going to notice that there are many Pleiadians that are here walking the Earth with you. There are many other species. I'm not saying it's just us. However, start paying attention. And I don't want you to do it as a means of judgment, but I would like you to start using your discernment, because what you will begin to recognize is that, aren't they something? And as you notice their vibration and the energy that they're emanating, that will activate it within you so that you also start emanating that energy and that vibration. As you are becoming more comfortable with that, then everything begins to transition. Everything begins to move into a new direction. And the result of all of this is what takes you next into that space of being that Crystallia talked about so very well at the beginning. That state of being is something that is just our normal everyday life when we're out in the universe. So that is also one of the biggest transitions that takes you out of the duality that you have been accustomed to on the earth plane. That is what these nefarious ones, as you call them, have wanted to just get rid of for so very long, because if you're in a state of being, you know that you're part of something magnificent and huge and very expansive. So that doesn't keep you small. And they have worked diligently to keep everybody small for a very, very long time. But that's what's coming to an end. And that's why going into 2026, this year, 2025, as you do the numbers in numerology, has been a 9, which is about completion, which is about breaking down. Next year is a number 1 year. And so new beginnings, new realities. And so it's very interesting because when you look back at the beginning of 2025, there were so many things that you thought, oh, it's going to get better this year. And it did. But there were so many other things that you never anticipated that were also breaking down and changing and transitioning in the background. So it's that sense of trying to understand what's going to happen, where's this change coming from, how is it going to be impacted, versus, oh yeah, that all happened, plus this other wave of energy. So when we're stepping into this new reality, as you're able to just pick it up with the particles that make up who you are, then you'll start with, oh, all this other stuff too, and then that'll integrate backwards. So it's almost like it's doing the reverse. Instead of starting small and getting big, you're going to start big and then get even bigger. But what's important to know is that as you start big and as you integrate and feel all of those energies trickling down in and around you, then that's what's going to just help or be a part of all of this integration of the energies. Okay. What else do I need to say? I'm already seeing changes of the earth plane. I'm seeing that there is a greater clarity to a lot of the waterways. I'm seeing that some of the forests are becoming cleaner and are filled with more energy. I'm also seeing that where things have been abused and where things have not happened in the way that is supportive of nature, that is becoming much more known to people too. And there are those that are protesting it. So again, the reminder that these people that are protesting, yes, thank you for bringing it up to our awareness, but you need to, in your own consciousness, say, okay, I'm not going to protest about the lack. I'm going to embrace the fact that someone brought to my awareness an opportunity where I can manifest or help to manifest the energy or vibration of a healthy forest, of clean waterways, of, whatever it may be, with the understanding that you're simply tapping into the energy and focusing the energy. It is not you personally who's fixing it or doing it. It is that you are the vehicle or the conduit that allows for that high vibrational energy to move through you. Okay, so I wanted to share that. I think I'm going to jump into the questions now. Let's see. What happens to the children of one or both parents who are dark and have been taken out, like Tom Hanks, who was taken out years ago, whose mask-wearing likeness I saw the other day with his son? Are they told about their parents, and how do they cope if they know? Great question. Unfortunately, the truth is these children all know about what their parents are like because their children were integrated into the nefarious deeds at a very young age. Some of them would protect their own children and harm further another child, but their whole goal in life was to integrate their children to the next generation of doing what they were doing. So, and this individual in particular, look at the tattoos that his son has, very nefarious, very satanic. And the son has also been rounded up because he was not a good person. But for those of these families where they have a lot of things that are going on, yes, the children are aware. Sometimes the children might have been protected and kept separate, but at some point before they're grown, they're brought into it and they're integrated into it because that's how they indoctrinate people from generation to generation to generation. And so again, that is something that we hope we have brought to a halt and will no longer be taking place. As of right now, we do not see anything like that, nor as this vibration, as they pull out all of those that we talked, that Albayon talked about earlier, as they pull all of that out, then there will be virtually impossible to bring back that depravity and that negativity. Let's see. Is all weather manipulation now, or is some of it normal? Why are there still chemtrails? And with all the chemtrails, the bugs have disappeared and the forests are dying, and how will we recover? So the forests are already recovering, and the bugs that are needed, there were many mutant bugs that were created as a means of, like when they talked about taking different bio warfare and biochemical warfare and different things like that. They also used bugs as a means of infecting and hurting other people. You might think of them as the bees. Remember those bees that were from somewhere? You might have thought about other things. So in other words, some good bugs have been removed, and some of the negative bugs are those that were done to do harm, created to do harm. And some of these just manifested or created themselves on their own. But there were many that were manipulated and created by the nefarious ones. 100% agree. So I know that, and people keep talking to me and keep telling me the chemtrails are still there. Why are the chemtrails there? And I can still see that some of the nefarious chemtrails are still there. And I don't know how those people are getting away with it. Because some chemtrails that look like chemtrails are actually clearing the air, cleaning the air. But there are still some that is taking it down and is keeping the vibration low. So those will go away because they will not be compatible with the vibration and the high vibrational frequency. So they will go away. But I do still see them going on now and into probably January. It may be a little bit after that before they go away completely. The one about, yes, there is obviously always normal weather. There is manipulation, but there is also the normal weather. Now, a lot of if the white hats are doing it, they might take something that is already happening and amplify it, whereas the nefarious ones tried to pull from nothing and create a massive storm or create something that would take out many, many people or create great problems. And I don't see any of that happening. So I do see that, yes, there is some manipulation. It's not as severe as it used to be, but there are also many naturally occurring phenomenon. Okay. Are we already in the year 2026? I know there are different calendars. The calendar, as you know it, is going to be changed, and it is going to revert back to the old one that has the 13 months. But that's not going to happen for 5 to 10 years, probably. There will be people talking about it, and that talking about it will bring it up and will kind of seed the energy of it before it ever takes place. But when I'm looking at this, because I can only go with the calendar that the majority of consciousness is hooked into, which is the calendar that you have right now. And anytime you're lapping over from one year to the next, the energy of the new year is already seeping into this year, just as this energy will stay around for a little bit of the first, during the month of January. So I see 26 is really setting up its energy to begin to, I just see so much movement with 2026. It's almost like, for those of you in the winter, when they show those images of like snow being blown and you can see the snowflakes and you can see that movement, that's what 2026 looks to me, just especially as I'm looking in at the very beginning of it here. So it is going to be a great year. It is going to manifest even more changes than what you've had now. And those winds, that's what that wind is representing to me, the winds of change. So it's all going to be here, and it's going to be a great year. But there is always that overlap that takes place. Okay, well, we are going to bring this to a close. Shelly had said maybe we can look over there, but somehow time flies, does it not? But I thank you. Be very, very present within your life. Know that these these upgrades that continuously are taking place are there to help you. So if you get caught up in old energies, old fears, old concerns, just cut, and clear that energy and be present within yourself. This is such a time of awareness. You guys are the ones manifesting this. I have such honor and such respect for you. So thank you for being here with us this evening on Saluia. Whew. All right. Well, this is Shelly coming back in. Thank you for those of you that hung out the whole time. I really appreciate it as always. But we are in a fabulous time. I am so excited. I just can't believe all these things that are happening. It is truly wonderful. So be present. Remember to do all that going inside of yourself, whatever it is that they were talking about. I don't know. I'm always like a blank slot. I get I forget when I first come on a channel. But anyway, okay. If you haven't subscribed or liked or whatever, please do so. And I'll see you on December 22nd. Bye-bye.